the western sky comes
Runway DFW.
Live from Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport in Texas, this is Runway DFW, in color. Now, here is your host, Walt Zwerko.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are on this big blue marble. It's Walt, coming to you from the friendly confines of Founders Plaza here at DFW International Airport on what looks to be a spectacular morning, the second longest day of the year. Yesterday was the longest day. So sunrise will be coming up here very shortly. And we've got an airplane coming in here. Little bitty one. Well, it's a little early for our camera to focus in real well. But as you might be able to see, we have over astride us, not one, but two Queens of the Skies, 747s of the UPS variety. It's been a while since I've seen two of them here, but there they are. So they both came in before we got on the air, so maybe we'll be lucky and see at least one of them go out here on from your friends at Runway DFW. So we're back with you after our sojourn to Durant Regional Airport on Saturday for a kind of an interesting broadcast with the commemorative Air Force, bringing some of their fleet of historic planes to that Oklahoma town. We got some jumbo cargo action for you there. We've also got, of course, you saw just a second or two ago this luminous sunrise that we're about to be greeted by. Sunrise is technically, I think, at 6:20 this morning, Central Time, so about 18 minutes away is when the sun will technically rise up out of there. We're trying a different camera today. This super wide shot of our entire setup with both our cameras, and this camera is looking to the north. So generally speaking, we're looking to the south, but this camera looks north back at us. Why you'd want to see that, I don't know, but now this plane we tried to bring you arriving a moment ago, it's a Martinair. It is a Cessna Grand Caravan, and it came in from Addison, Texas, which is on the north side of the city of Dallas. That was all of a 17-minute flight. And again, this is a cargo plane. As it disappears. Well, let's say good morning to everyone. Ralph Reif, channel member, says good morning from Piedmont, South Carolina in the USA.
American 807 inbound for 18 right.
Ross Jen says UPS Queens never disappoint. And that is so true. Channel member Steve Lundeby says good morning, all. Doesn't get any better. Walt and two queens of the skies. Reknan Liddell B says Walt should show the sunrise from my window. It looks very beautiful in Dallas. And yes, it does. And we will. Don't worry. We will bring you that. It's kind of a nice diversion if, in case aircraft don't show up as they aren't right now. We always have that as a fallback for you. Mr. John says good evening from Japan. Happy to have you here. Mike 8 Jackson, good morning from the east coast of Florida. Another launch from Kennedy Space Center this morning. For another 10 days anyway, 5 miles from Kennedy, we are moving to Kansas. Oh, we live for another 10 days anyway, 5 miles from the Space Center. We're moving to Kansas. I don't think you'll see any rocket launches in Kansas. Our friend Raina Taylor and channel member says good morning. Gerwin Marshall says hello from Germany. Channel member Aviation Mike greets us with a good morning. And channel member Chad Hart says good morning, Walt, and the rest of the gang. I am telling you, that is one fiery sunrise that we've got lined up for us this morning. So even if we didn't have two 747s staring at us, we would still have this, right? Hard to top nature. We'll be with you for almost 3 hours until about 9 o'clock this morning. So if you can hang out with us, please do. Gerwin Marshall says these queens are so beautiful. They really are. Our pal Uncle Car Guy from Indianapolis says hello from the Circular City. Walt, can you catch an Indianapolis flight? Well, we'll do the best we can. You know, I think last time we were here, which was last Friday, I believe. Friday morning, we had an Indianapolis flight, an American Airlines flight from Indianapolis coming in here on the west side, which was very unusual. Our channel member and moderator, Ms. Wolves 13, is here. Good morning to you, Ms. Wolves 13. Thanks for being here to help corral our chat room. A few trains at. Channel member says, good morning to you, Walt. Lovely to see you on this Thursday. Hello to the mods and all the viewers. Sunrise was 4:43 this morning here in Crewe in the UK. Hey, here comes a plane. It's American Flight 807 from Amarillo, Texas. It's an Airbus A319. Let's see if our camera will focus on this pre-sunrise arrival. Quiet arrival. We have to crank up our wild sound mic there a little bit. Weather conditions, well, the wind is coming out of the east this morning, and I think I'm twisting. Got to kind of twist our camera around to bring you this picture, but let's see if we can do this.
West side, we'll find out for probably 124.
Okay, so with this shot, we're looking to the north.
Cross went left,
and you can see the
the
flags
ramp with you, American 07.
from right to left, American, Texas, Dallas, and still missing is the flag of the city of Fort Worth for some reason. So again, this camera is looking to the north, so the wind is coming from the east, pretty much. That's what the airport says. The airport says, yeah, east, 7 miles an hour. All right, so there's us twisting ourselves in a knot here, trying to get our camera back in the regular position again. And we will turn our attention once more to our skies. There you go. Why, that looks to me like an American Eagle E-Jet. I do believe it's come in to us from Corpus Christi, flight 3885. Everything's very quiet this morning. Oh, well, thank you. What's your name?
Francisco.
Francisco, it's Walt.
Nice to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you. I see you work for American Airlines.
Working at Terminal D.
Terminal E?
Yeah, one of the maintenance technicians.
Wow.
Things that, that we fix every day, come in and out, like they're flying. So
It must be very satisfying to see. Well, I'm glad you could stop by. Do you come here? On your breaks?
well, right now I'm in training.
Oh, okay.
I got day shift for a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, but just wanted to stop by. See, I saw you were live, so.
Well, thank you. So
Yeah.
was that you honking over there?
No.
Oh, okay. Somebody was honking. I thought, well, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. Beautiful sunrise.
It really is. I mean, we may not have mountains, but we have sunrises here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, big blue skies.
Well, thanks for stopping by, Francisco. Thank you. Well, Francisco, an American Airlines worker who's training. He saw that we were on there. Let's say hello. That is a nice thing about doing this broadcast is to meet all sorts of people you'd never otherwise encounter. What happened to our picture? All the gold has gone out of it. I think the automatic white balance has kicked in or something. Well, we'll try to get that fixed. It really looks a lot more, the sky looks a lot more orange than that in real life. Still emptying the belly of this one of two queens of the sky, which are here this morning. We also have one of the other types of planes we like to keep track of is the MD-11. And I think in recent days we've seen times when I've seen up to 4 MDs here at the airport. Right now we just have this one, which is behind that fence over there. But I do see looks like the cargo door on this side is open, so maybe we'll see that go out. Channel member Aviation Mike says, thank you, Francisco, for keeping the birds flying. Raina Taylor says, I love that view, Walt. I also love the camera. Well, I don't know what we've got 4 views for you this morning. We've got this one, which is, we haven't tried this one before. It's a super wide angle camera, kind of let you can see the SAMU down there, the sprinkler avoidance mobile unit, that blue bin there. Yeah, it was funny. I was watching coverage of a fire in Paris, France yesterday, and there was an emergency vehicle that had the letters SAMU emblazoned on it. And I immediately thought, where'd they get that from? So let's see. We'll go back to the sunrise. There's no planes coming at the moment. No planes taking off at the moment. And I do have to say, this sky is more orangey than what you are seeing there on your screen. Now, this is a new camera, which was funded by the channel sponsor. So let's look a little closer now. And I know there's a way to manually adjust the white balance on this camera, but I would have to cut away from it to bring that to you. But we are now 4 minutes away, technically, from sunrise. I think the cloud cover in the eastern sky will probably keep us from seeing the sun crossing the plane of the horizon. But we will definitely see its impact as it lights up the morning sky here over North Texas. Luke Molds checks in. Good evening, Walt. Good evening, Mods. Good evening, Aviation Family, watching live from Kinloch, Taupo, New Zealand at 11:15 p.m. Thursday night.
What's up, American 962 Heavy with you on the visual for one of your eggs.
Well, we've got a heavy coming in. You may have heard the exchange there. It's American Flight 962 from Sao Paulo, Brazil, coming from the southern hemisphere. So if we've just transitioned into officially summer as of yesterday, down in Brazil, they just transitioned technically or officially into winter. So we're going to be seeing a 787-9 Dreamliner. It will have been flying around for 9 hours and 40 minutes or so from Brazil. And that will be our first heavy arrival for you on Runway DFW on this Thursday. Aviation Mike, we haven't had a sunrise here in Charlotte for a week. We've received almost 6 inches of rain. Oof, that's a lot. We had earlier this week, one reason we haven't been with you sooner since our last broadcast on Saturday is because of the weather here. We've had some storms. We had some golf ball-sized hail at Rancho Runway DFW. I believe yesterday the airport was shut down, or operations were suspended, or flights were delayed because of the storms that went through the area. We had a big storm yesterday. And also, it's been very, very hot. Now, right now, it's very pleasant. Well, it's 79, which some people might say, well, that's really warm. But, and of course, we're talking about Fahrenheit. But for North Texas, on a summer morning, 79 with a little breeze from the east, sounds okay to me. I would not want to be here at noon. We've been having temperatures, the heat index, or the feels like temperature. So the temperature combined with the humidity was feeling like 120 degrees Fahrenheit. So our thoughts go out to all the airport personnel who have to work outside to make sure these big planes can come and go. The baggage handlers, the ground operations personnel. That is some heavy heat, the refueling crews. Well, here's a question for people who have more aviation knowledge than me. Aviation Mike says, do the planes need inspections after hail that size comes through the airport? Well, I don't know that if the hail that size came through the airport. That it did where I live, which is 50 miles to the, maybe about 40 miles to the north of here. As you probably know, weather can be a very localized thing. But they did have some rough weather come through here
Echo
yesterday.
Bravo, cleared across 18 left, into park, stay with you, American 9. Yeah.
There's the East Tower. Brian Henry, channel member with an icon depicting an MD-11, says, good morning, Walt. My son and I will be driving by there soon. We are going to the airliner convention tomorrow. Yes. I heard about that. One of our viewers alerted me to that. I won't be able to go to it. It's an international convention, and they're going on tours of facilities, or they have tours available of facilities, and they have a convention where you can, I guess, check out memorabilia and hear lectures. I think one of the lectures tomorrow is Noel Phillips, who's a very well-known YouTuber who goes on all sorts of crazy flights all around the world. And it would be fun to hear what he has to say. I'd have a lot of questions for Noel Phillips. I just saw one of his journeys. What was it from? Started in Cairo, went on to Doha on Qatar Airways, flying first class on a very relatively inexpensive ticket because he started his trip in Cairo, as he explained. That he says North Africa originations will net you some very attractive ticket prices. And then he flew first class from Doha to Sydney, I believe it was, on a 787, which looked very luxurious. He was the only, he and one other passenger were the only ones in first class in that upper deck. And yeah, that looks like the way to go. Okay, 6:22. So we've passed the line of demarcation for the sunrise. Let's see what we can see of said sunrise. Well, the sky's a little orangey, but we definitely don't see the sun. Again, the cloud cover on the horizon is keeping us from seeing that. We do have some feathered friends who are out for breakfast this morning, looking for crumbs from all the visitors to Founders Plaza. So yeah, it's a little bit laid back here right now. But not to worry, because when it starts to fire up in just a little while, we'll be here to bring you all the action. So I guess this will be the time to get your cup of coffee or tea or refreshment. ERB with an icon which I think is a sunset. It's a little hard for me to tell. I don't have a 85-inch screen here in front of me, so those of you who are watching on a TV set, you can see a lot more than I can sometimes. You know, sometimes I go back and look at a broadcast and I see things which I just had no idea I was taking pictures of. Now, I recall one time when I was catching a sunrise, and when I went back and looked, there were hot air balloons off in the distance, going, transiting the sun. I didn't see that when the broadcast started, or when it was live. Ryan Garland says, good afternoon from the UK. Glad to have our UK viewers checking in this morning. Our friend Douglas Serrano says the 2 Hawaii flights are coming in soon, one from Maui, one from Honolulu. So we'll say aloha to those flights in the not too distant future. Both of them are general. Well, I can't remember if they're both Dreamliners or if one is a triple, or I can't remember. Looks like the next flight we will be seeing over here is still a couple minutes away. It's American Airlines Flight 1049 from Knoxville, Tennessee on a 737-800. Well, that's us. We're kind of hanging out with you. I think we may be about to get the sun poking through the clouds. Maybe we'll even get an airplane flying in front of it. And you see a bunch down at the bottom of the screen. You see a bunch of trucks lined up, pickup trucks. I'm not sure if those are associated with ground operations on the airfield, or if they're doing construction there on the north side. I do see some pickup trucks now which look to be along runway 18 left, which is the departure runway. And they're most likely doing their inspections. There's one of them. And you see some morning traffic in the background. Oh, well, there you see why there's been no activity on 18 left. The Big X. The runway's closed. But this may be when they open it up. Here comes the flight from Knoxville.
Tower American 116 Heavy is coming up on leg right for 18 right.
And I am now.
Right, clear to land, American 116.
You may have heard that traffic. The first of our flights from Hawaii, American 116, coming in from Maui, and this will be a 777.
Aircraft 20 left at Whiskey Lima on American 749.
So we'll get ready to bring you that. As we are now finally getting a little peek at El Sol. Channel member Marco Hinton says, good morning to my friends in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Hey there, Marco. So again, we're waiting for the Maui flight, about a minute away from the view of our camera. It's amazing how fast that celestial body can move in the sky, isn't it? Or at least that's the appearance it gives us. Of course, the Earth is rotating, so. Alrighty. Flight 116 is just now crossing the highway just to the north of us. And here comes the big triple on Runway DFW. Sarah Jane RN says, "Good day, Walt." As a new member, I think Sarah Jane has been a member. Maybe it's a renewal, but excuse me. In any event, thank you, Sarah Jane RN. And we say aloha to this aircraft full of passengers from the beautiful island of Maui.
Echo Bravo, shorty, to the left.
That's a 6 hour and 22-minute flight.
Now we are parked flight side.
So Sarah Jane RN is celebrating two months of membership. That's why we saw that alert. And we will, at the end of the broadcast, we will salute, as we always do, our members, at least as of last night, because I got to pre-produce our credits. Channel member Marco Hinton says, "What do you think of the Frontier Spirit merger that fell through?" Well, I don't know what to make of it. I guess, it certainly can be argued that the more airlines there are, the more likely you are to be able to find a friendly fare. I think that can be argued. Now, here at Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport, American Airlines, a great airline. Glad to have it here. But this is probably not the place where you're going to find a lot of low fares because of the competitive aspect of it. American and American Eagle control about 85% of the flights here at DFW. So obviously, if you're traveling on a budget, the more airlines like Frontier and Spirit and JetBlue to a lesser extent that you can find a comparable flight on, the better off it is for your pocketbook if you are a budget conscious flyer. That was American Eagle flight 3760 on that Embraer 175 coming in from Jackson, Mississippi. So here we have the removal of the Giant X.
Cross 40 left on Whiskey Lima, then go up to the ramp behind the Heavy, and we'll let you know what 372.
I believe that's it there on the trailer there. So the runway 18 left, which was closed, is now, I believe, open. There comes a train from Fort Worth. So we've got planes and trains and pickup trucks. Karen Munson says, channel member Karen Munson says, hi and good morning. Beautiful sunrise. 'Tis indeed. Douglas Serrano says American Flight 115 is on approach, and that would be the flight from Honolulu. And this one's going to be a Dreamliner 787-8. A 6-hour and 20-minute flight, and it's it's on final. We'll see it in about a minute. Thank you for keeping us honest there, Douglas. Oh, and a few trains at says, oh, a Stadler built train as well. Nice. Yes, that he was talking about the Fort Worth train, which I'm trying to remember what the name of that rail line is, but yes. We also have that same train, or the same type of train, running in Denton County, which is just to the north of here, between Denton, and it connects with the Dallas DART light rail line. So we've got a lot of rail here. My complaint with rail, and I used to ride the rail a lot when I worked in downtown Dallas, and I lived in the northern suburbs, and my employer would offer us train and bus passes for free, and I said, count me in. Now the problem was I generally worked at night, and the trains didn't always run, or the train schedules, I guess, is typical when you get into the evening hours, they don't run quite as often. So sometimes I'd have to drive. But yeah, I did a lot of commuting. In fact, my regular route on the Green Line, I think it was the Green Line of DART, would take us. Hang on a second here. Would take me past Love Field every day. Ran right by Love Field, so that was always interesting. Got a new subscriber, Tushar. Happy to have you with us as we say aloha to this inbound flight from Honolulu. So we haven't seen a lot of action this morning, but we've got 2 incoming heavies under our belt. And again, we've got 2 Queens of the Sky just to the south of us here at the UPS facility.
Echo Bravo, short of 18 left, American 1.
So anyway, I'm a big believer in public transportation, and I used it for many years traveling to downtown Dallas. But, when I would go to the couple times I've been to England, I was always impressed with how much more often the trains ran. We would get, I think, at peak hours from the station I was at, maybe every 45-minute service. Maybe every half hour, and then at non-peak hours it would be every hour. And so I've always felt that that was not the best way to run a railroad. If you wanted people to utilize your service, you wanted to have it, you just show up and, within 10 minutes you're on a train. Channel member John Lipman says, Walt, the train line from Fort Worth to DFW is called Tex Rail. I should have known that. I've never been on that line. I should try it out one of these days. Because, I like planes and I like trains as well. Maybe I should do a sidebar on trains. Well, Uncle Car Guy, if you're still watching, I see American Flight 2782 coming in from Indianapolis. It's about 4 or 5 minutes away. I'm going to guess it'll be coming in on the east side of the airport. But we'll see. That's the west tower of DFW Airport there in the background. Laura Ernst, channel member, says, Morning, Walt. Nice to see the 747s at UPS this morning. Yeah. I guess instead of 4 MD-11s, we're seeing 2 747s along with 1 MD-11. I don't know. Who knows what UPS is thinking, how they were. I'll have to talk to those people over there one of these days. A few trains coming to us from Crewe in the UK says, the railroads are a source of frustration at times, but keep me in gainful employment if nothing else. Be good to come over and sample the planes and trains of Dallas-Fort Worth. Well, I think, it would be, I guess, a novelty to see the planes or at least the trains of Dallas-Fort Worth, but I don't think it would be as... I think it would almost be laughable. We also have a different view of trains over here. Trains have not been, at least in this part of the U.S., they're not really recognized. It's. I think a lot of people view trains as being the transportation for people who can't afford to have a car. You know what I mean? As we see this Sun Country plane dipping over the horizon over to the east side, going to Fort Worth, going to the east side of the airport. It's going to Cancun, is that plane. Hey, you know what, Uncle Car Guy, if you still are with us, this flight from Indianapolis is coming in over on this side. So flight's 2782. Is that right? 2782. And it's a 737-800. So yeah, one of the, I don't know, if, in my experience, one of the rare times that we get to see an Indianapolis inbound flight over here on this side. As you see the parking lot of Founders Plaza here in the foreground, it's kind of deserted this morning. It's really a nice morning to watch planes from here. By this time of the morning on a clear day, we'd be bathed in sunlight. Well, because of the cloud cover, it's a lot more fun to watch the planes coming in this morning. There's the flight from Indianapolis. So yes, I would have to say that our first hour of operations, or first 45 minutes of operations here at Runway DFW, not...
Whiskey Lima, contact ground on the other side, clear to cross 18 left, American 2782.
Not the most scintillating, at least as far as how many planes we've seen, but... Douglas Serrano says, I'm going to Orlando in a few weeks for my birthday. Well, happy birthday to you in advance, Douglas. Sounds like fun. Kevin Kelly says, Walt, good morning to you. And Per celebrates 2 months of membership. You have a lovely, friendly community, Walt, that appreciates you. And I feel it. I know it. I feel very lucky to have found all of you folks here. And to see you guys and gals interact with one another. It's a nice, fun place to hang out. I have been trying to think of a slogan for our channel. If anybody has any suggestions, let me know. I thought of, it came to me without any research, just plain fun, P-L-A-N-E fun, which I thought, well, that kind of sums things up. But I looked it up I always look things up on the Googles, and I found that there's already organizations that use that slogan. I think there's one company that sells aviation merchandise that uses that. So I can't infringe on their use of that phrase. So got to come up with something else. Mike 8 Jackson says, I was here at the very beginning. I had to run an errand. What have I missed? Well, that's what YouTube is for. You can scan back and forth and see what you missed. You missed a couple of flights coming in from Hawaii. You missed a flight from Indianapolis. Nothing too terribly exciting, I would have to admit. Our next arrival is going to be American Flight 2954 from Minneapolis, St. Paul. On a 737-800. It is a couple minutes out. We seem to be saying that a lot. Things are a couple of minutes away. Slogan suggestion from Per, does fantastic work, equals DFW. Well, I'm not looking for any self-aggrandizement. I'm kind of looking for something that kind of sums up the channel. I mean, thank you for the suggestion. Something that sums up the channel and you know, what you see when you get here. I don't know, I'm still cogitating on that. You may hear it in the background. There is a fire truck and an ambulance. that have come out of their headquarters and are headed over to the, well, at least the central portion of the airport. And this is something we see almost every time we're here. And again, you have to think of an airport like Dallas-Fort Worth as just a medium-sized city, really, between all the employees and the passengers that are coming through and the visitors who are coming to pick up passengers. And, you know, people fall ill or can have an accident just in the normal course of life. So we don't get too panicky when we see emergency vehicles here. Not to dismiss the, you know, the seriousness of what might be happening, but, you know, just because you see emergency vehicles doesn't mean there's some aviation disaster happening. Just as when we see the big smoke coming from behind the West Tower sometimes. All that means is that they're doing a fire drill over there on the at the training academy. This, I believe, if my memory serves, would be the flight that we mentioned earlier from Minneapolis, St. Paul. So with all the cloud cover, it does seem like kind of a very gray morning here now that the color of the sunrise has evaporated to some extent.
Right, cross 18 left, Whiskey Lima, South Route, and cross East Route, off the contact ground on the bridge, American 2964. Alpha Bridge, American 2964.
If you're just joining us, welcome. You're looking at one of, well, you're looking at two 747s there. You see the nose of the second one. So here's a look at both of them in all of their glory, parked at right angles to one another. And I'm hoping that
They're good, 2007, 18 right.
we'll get to see at least one of them go out, probably back to Louisville before we
Clear to land, 18 right, American 2000.
clear the decks here at 9 a.m. Central Time. Sarah Jane RN saying, watching the women's test cricket on the TV, the stream on the phone. Is that a cat or a dog? I can't tell. Asleep next to me. Perfect. Does sound very comforting. Our pal Wendy KLM fan and channel member says, good afternoon. Good afternoon to you, Wendy. Our pleasure to have you with us. Let's see. We've got a flight from Lubbock, Texas, just about to arrive. It'll be American Eagle Flight 4923, a CRJ 701ER. And that's me there, pointing the camera in the direction of this aircraft. And here it comes. Well, activity's picking up here. With a flight from Austin, Texas arriving.
So 2142, Bridger 1 right.
And we have another Martinair. I believe this will be a Super Cargo Master. Super Cargo Master.
2142, Bridger 1 right.
Don't have a destination. It's not listed. Don't have an age on this plane either.
Basically, Lima cross 20 left out the road, 0.65 on the top of the bridge, American, 2007. 2142, Bridger 1 right.
We saw one of these little planes in Durant on Saturday morning. It was coming in from, I'm assuming it came in from Dallas, but I'm not, or from Dallas Fort Worth, but I'm not sure. But these little cargo planes feed into the, or they appear to feed into the UPS processing facility adjacent to us. They travel to the airports at the 747s and the MD-11s and the 767s and the 757s and the A300s don't go to.
Entire good morning, Mars 666, hold short of 18 right.
Land 18 right.
This particular aircraft, that's a Grand Caravan. It's going to Abilene in Texas.
Cross 18 right, hold short of 18 left.
27 years old.
1996.
Okay, 240 heading full send, 18 left, Mars 666.
Where's this thing going? Is it going to take off here, or is it going over to the east side? Is it a turn and burn?
971, 11 DME for 18 right, parking on the west side. Good land, 18 right, 39.
Not exactly going up at a 45-degree angle, is it?
Yes, sir, you start off pretty good. Alright, go page cross 1 left and cross alpha, ground on the other side, start off pretty good.
We, of course, saw a lot of propeller planes when we were in Durant the other morning on Saturday. I want to thank the Commemorative Air Force again and Durant Regional Airport for welcoming us with open arms It's kind of fun to just hang out right on the edge of the apron. Watch the planes come and go.
Martha Pacific, push 2, we'll see you.
It got me to thinking, you know, the Commemorative Air Force is an organization which maintains and operates all manner of military aircraft, historic military aircraft. And by the way, that was American Eagle Flight 4926 from Stillwater, Oklahoma, a 701 ER. So yeah, the Commemorative Air Force operates all these grand old aircraft, and it got me to thinking, why hasn't there been an analogous organization established to preserve commercial aircraft? Because you would think, well, maybe because they're not as available. I mean, a lot of these military aircraft, I'm assuming, came in as surplus and were acquired for a very low cost. We're about to see American Flight 971 from Los Angeles, an Airbus A321 coming in. But why isn't there, you know, some organization that has been able to save, and of course many of these aircraft are no longer savable, these commercial aircraft which we no longer see. And of course there have been individuals who have worked to do things like that, you know, like John Travolta with his 707, and well, it sure would have been cool to have an organization of individuals to gather up some of these planes from the desert which have fallen into disuse. You know, your L-1011s and your MD-80s and your... Well, I mean, I guess a lot of that, of course, because some of these planes are just so big. Where would you put them? How could you store them? And a lot of the military planes are smaller, more manageable.
Echo Alpha, hold short 18 left.
ERB says, Grand Caravan flies every day over my house to a near regional airport. Channel member Nigel Coxon says, hello, Walt and all at Runway DFW. Kevin Kelly says, Walt, will you ever do a Sunday show again? And yes, I will. Although I do, you know, I consciously try to avoid doing that. Because I consider myself to be a friend of Kevin and Rudy at Airline Videos Live, and they've kind of staked out Sunday as the day of their big show, and you know, their big weekly show, and so, you know, I do my best to avoid stepping on their turf. Now, obviously, they'd understand if on the occasions when I do a program on a Sunday, it's usually because there's some notable flight coming in, or in some cases also because of the if we've had bad weather on Saturday when I usually do a show from here, and it's my only opportunity to bring you a broadcast, then yeah, I'll do a Sunday show, but I try to keep it to Saturday.
Cross 18 left, ground plane 5 on board 3453.
And talking about preserving commercial aircraft, Michael H. Jackson says the expense of maintaining and let alone flying a large commercial aircraft is prohibitive, one would think, but I guess World War II aircraft are not cheap. No, they're not. I mean, you see these old aircraft and you think, wow, the work that goes into them, and the expertise required, and we were talking to one of the members of the Confederate Air Force. I keep calling it Confederate Air Force. That's what they used to be called, the Commemorative Air Force. And she was telling us how, they're always in need of younger people who have an interest in these older planes, because obviously a lot of, they need people to pilot them, because the skills involved have to be, handed down from, literally from one person to the next. And unless there's somebody who's interested in doing it, then, that knowledge falls into the abyss. So if you're interested in aviation and you want to get some hands-on experience with these older aircraft, look up the Commemorative Air Force, and perhaps they'll have a unit in your area, and you can do some volunteer work and, really get some hands-on experience. They even have a cadet corps for, younger people who are interested. That was American Eagle Flight 5011 from Wichita Falls, Kansas, ending a grueling 23-minute trip aboard that CRJ 701ER. Got another American Eagle plane coming in. This one's going to be an E-Jet, an Embraer 175. And this is arriving from Abilene in Texas. As you might be able to hear in the background, one of those Martinair aircraft puttering about. Does it look like that plane has had its N number painted over? Do you see that? I don't know if you could catch that on the way, but it looked like the N number on that plane was... Let's see if I see a picture of this here. So the image of it that was on flight radar, there's a photograph of that plane. See if we can see it when it turns here. It was on the right side of the plane.
Short running left, mark exit.
I don't know. Have to go back and look. Wow, we are very pleased to announce that Sarah Jane RN has favored us with a $50 Australian super chat. To help with your expenses, Walt, you have a wonderful, laid-back, easygoing channel. Very enjoyable. Well, we'll do our best to not dissuade you of that opinion. Thank you, Sarah Jane.
Clear for departure, 18 left, turn right, run, heading 240 from our Texas state.
This is another Martinair flight here, Supercargo Master. It's going to Wichita Falls in Texas, not too far up the road here.
$19.97.
And the Runway DFW singers once again letting us know that this is a 20th century aircraft. All right, well, ERB says rolled back the tape.
240 on the heading, contact
And the
partner.
number on that aircraft, which looked like it was taped over, says N450YX on that American Eagle. Well, thanks for that. I don't know what that means. YX. Lots of birds here today. Never a good omen for jet aircraft, or I guess any aircraft really.
Now American 1098 is on the visual.
So if you're watching up in the towers, which I doubt you are, but just be aware, there are a lot of birdies over here. American Flight 2326 just arrived from Des Moines, Iowa on that 737-800.
Roger that, American Local 105, cross 18 right and 18 left. And ground 8.
We have another American Airlines aircraft, Flight 1098 from Kansas City coming in on Airbus A321.
At Whiskey Lima, cross runway 18 left.
Hello there.
And altitude and 65 on the bridge, American 2326.
There you see the inner workings of Runway DFW. As we strive to bring you all angles of aviation excellence. Got an Air Canada, I think it's a cargo, flight 7225, coming in from Toronto. It's coming in on the east side. I'll just see if we can bring that to you, because it's not an American Airlines plane.
RNAV B Park 18 left, clear for takeoff, American 1530.
I really love the way that the tail is on this one. They've got kind of the half a maple leaf. They leave the rest to your imagination. Coming in way over on runway 17 left. Wow, do we actually have a departure over here on the west side? Yes, I think we do.
RNAV B Park 18 left, clear for takeoff, American 226 Papa.
American 626 Papa is the flight number. Don't know where it's going. Could be a repositioning flight. I just got an alert on my watch that America's population is older than ever, with a record high median age of 38.9. So now I don't feel quite so old.
98.
Breaking news just in. So this flight to parts unknown. Have we seen anything take off besides tiny cargo planes over here?
Well, it's a departure for American 1536. Good day, American 1536.
One thing about broadcasting here in the mornings is that we still have a fairly clear view down the runway, which later in the day it's just going to look like a mirage.
Over departure 226 Pilot. Good morning, sir.
There goes a Sun Country plane. It's another Sun Country plane, and the first one we saw was going to Cancun. Guess where this one's going? Cancun.
18 left, American 2540.
Arriving from Harlingen in South Texas is this American Eagle Embraer 175. Flight 3818.
Tower 430, 4010, flight 18 left. We'll land 18 left, number 1364.
Well, next. Oh no, look at this.
Hold short 18 left, envoy 3818 at Whiskey.
So the Sun Country plane we saw earlier going to Cancun left on the east side. This one taking off over here on the west side. Douglas Serrano says, I don't see any heavies in the area right now. Well, if you don't count the two that are right in front of us. Sarah Jane RN says, when you love what you have and do, you have everything you need. That is a lovely, lovely thought.
18 left, we'll half away, Sun Country 503.
If I'm not mistaken, yeah, that plane came in on 18 left, so the 18 left is being used currently, or at least in that case, for both takeoffs and landings. So 18 right, normally the landing runway was not used that time for whatever reason.
Ground 20 left, ground 25, envoy 3818.
You're about to see another emergency vehicle in the foreground. An ambulance, in this case, not running with sirens. And this is one of several Sun Country liveries we see here. I guess the one we see most often is all that dark blue, purplish color. Some of which say Sun Country Airlines in block letters above the windows, and some just say Sun Country above the window. But here we have the Sun Country super graphics. I was going over here because I saw that that fire truck deploying its hoses. Here come the birds again. Again, not something you want to see. Maybe the fact that the birds are over on this side is why they're landing planes over on 18 left. Well, no, that one's coming in on 18 right, so. That plane arriving from Laredo in Texas, and the Sun Country. There's another Sun Country livery in the background there as this one heads off to Cancun.
At DFW Tower, helicopter 9 Bravo, about a mile from my landing spot. I'm going to pick up the rider and then would like to head to the south end of Dallas, south to the east. 9 Bravo out of blowing south.
So things are picking up here as far as activity goes. In fact, there's so many planes.
Laren 18 left, clear for takeoff, American 367.
So many planes on the radar now, I can't really pick them out from one another.
Archer Scott 35030.
What the? I mean, hear him. He was very...
That was flight 2569 to Kansas City.
Left, line up and wait, American 1899.
So this fire truck, I think it's just clearing out its hoses or nozzles or whatever.
28 right, clear land on the way up 3848.
The 2747s, which we have just to the south of us, are still both, they both still have their doors open.
Hard to have to be parked, 20 left, clear for takeoff, American 1899. Over departure, American 2569 with you. You too, American 367.
Channel member Somil Bandari says, good morning, everyone. Hello to you. And, Jared James O'Malley is our new subscriber. Thank you, Jared. Welcome on in. And Somil is coming to us from India, so we're officially around the world.
Runway 18 left, hold short Foxtrot 85, Marcus.
Well, we kind of missed our station ID. But I guess we can do it now. Well, you're
Go through
watching
Park,
Runway
American
DFW, live and in color from Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport. We are coming to you from the Founders Plaza viewing area that's provided by the airport. Thank you, DFW Airport, for giving us this place to hang out and watch planes. We'll be with you till 9 o'clock Central Time, so about another 90 minutes or so. We're about halfway through the festivities here. And so if you can hang out with us, please do so. Join in the chat, have some fun on Runway DFW.
Right left, 1 point, American 1811.
And I guess I can remove that. We say hello to channel member Veronica Peters. Good morning to you, Veronica.
Go ahead, 9 Bravo.
So we got a lineup of planes that's getting ready to take off here. Which one's going to go first?
We'll proceed eastbound 183, 9 Bravo.
I'm going to say the one in the middle. I think that is flight 2897 to St. Louis. The Gateway City. You know, that one with the big arch.
RNAV B Park, clear for takeoff, 18 left, American 1811. Left, line aboard American 2897. Crossing 18 left off base, ground on the other side of the airport.
So you may see there kind of a hint of it, but if we pull out a little wider, you can see all the cargo containers that are lined up. I'm not sure they're all destined for this plane because there's another 747. You can see the wing.
American 1811, good afternoon.
American 1965.
You can see the wing and 2 engines of it there on the right of the picture. But yeah, there's
Operations American 1965.
a lot of boxes that are
thanks.
got to be shoved into these planes. I guess they call them containers technically.
RNAV B Park, clear for takeoff 18 left, American 2897. Another 18 left, only 3360. Tower American 1965. Yeah, we need to return to the gate.
I just heard somebody say they had to return to the gate. Did you hear that? I'm assuming it's one of these aircraft. There's 3 American Airlines.
18 left on Echo, short of Yankee, American 1965.
Well, the one that's on the right there.
Don't know yet, but we're getting it now.
The one that's on the right there is American Eagle. It's supposed to be going to, it's an Embraer 170, not a 175, but a 170. It's going to Bentonville, Arkansas, the home of Walmart.
Go to Departure Bearing 28 says you have a great day.
Hey there, Robert Hurley. Thanks so much for that $20 super chat. Great live stream. Thank you. Mucho apreciado. Thank you, Robert. So yeah, I thought I heard one of these planes sounded like somebody said they got to return to the
RNFB
gate.
Park 18 left, clear for takeoff, envoy 3360.
But I may have heard it incorrectly.
RNFB 18 left, American 2767.
Oh, well, maybe it's this plane on the right here. Because there's that American Eagle flight going out to Bentonville. And this plane here on the central taxiway looks like it's flight 1965 and a 737-800, which was scheduled to go to San Antonio, Texas. But so I believe this must be the one that's going back to the gate. Don't know why. I'm sure the passengers aren't happy about that, but you know, there's a number of reasons why that might happen. Obviously, safety would be the paramount one. Could be a passenger who is not feeling well.
Go departure, envoy 3316, we'll see ya. RNAV to B Park, clear for takeoff, 18 left, American 2767. We'll be ready to go, 18 left, line for American 1232.
Cross 18 right, hold short, 18 left, envoy local 076.
So the plane returning to the gate was waiting for another aircraft to take off on runway 18 left. And so
Cross runway 18 right with kilo, hold short, runway 18 left.
I would assume that it will now continue its journey back to the gate.
18 left for takeoff, American 1232.
So we'll assume that whatever's happening aboard that plane is not an emergency, or else it would get clearance to go right back to the gate.
Right left, clear land, follow you.
So the assumption then is this some technical issue? Well, here comes that Air Canada cargo plane with the tail that I'm so fond of.
Good day, American 2767.
Let's say they're on the front. Oh, I thought that was a word next to the maple leaf there, but I guess it's just the door opening.
Cross runway 18 left with kilo ground, American 2012.
Again, this came in from Toronto about 20 minutes ago.
All right, 2647, have a good day, 1232.
It is a 22-year-old 767-300 ER. But yeah, I dig that. I dig that tail art.
No, nothing yet. American 1965. They're still trying to figure out whatever they're doing.
Well, it's funny. I'm still trying to figure out whatever it is that I'm doing. Alan Kobolansky says good morning to us from Brunswick, Georgia. Hello, Alan. Our friend and channel member, Angela Smith, says hello to everyone. Always nice when we get to see Angela out here with her camera. Today, I don't see her here, so I guess she must be elsewhere. Yeah, we've got, I'm going to zoom out here because we've got another cargo plane arriving from Cincinnati. As you can see, it's your DHL. It's your mustard and ketchup. It's another livery I really like.
All right, 1 left, we'll line up and wait American 1523.
Right, cross 1 left, no delay, Zulu to the ramp, onboard local 076.
And that plane was coming in on runway 18 left. Also, again, which is not normally the arrivals runway.
Tower, good morning, UPS 2879, average vision 1 left.
1990.
So there you have a 33-year-old 767-300. Yeah, it almost looks retro, doesn't it? That
Bravo,
color scheme.
RNAV Park 1 left, clear takeoff 1523.
Oh, look, it even has a white nose. Isn't that cute? And that plane has it all. Remember, Yurcha says that plane is as old as me, and Raina Taylor says, calls it a sunscreen nose. Kaio on the internet, channel member says, good morning, Walt. I woke up glad to get my morning going with some Runway DFW. Thank you, Kaio. And we say hello to Anth Cellini. Hello, Anth. And as we say that to you, we welcome there on runway 18 left. A little more cargo. We can always use a little more cargo here, right? That was
Alright, cross 18 left.
767 arriving from Austin, Texas. UPS flight 2879. And that's one of the newer 767s you'll see. This is just 2 years old, dating back to October of 2020. Well, I guess it'll be 3 years old in October, but yeah, a nice next to new 767. So we'll be seeing that here soon. In the meantime, this Air Canada cargo plane continues its long trek from after landing on the east side from Toronto. Let's see if it's still. Yeah, it arrived 25 minutes ago, so that's a long journey it's making over here to the cargo facility on the west side. Kind of making a pretty roundabout route.
We'll hold shot for UPS Canada 725
And again, we got these birds milling about.
18 left, line up away to American 12 then.
I haven't heard any of the bird mitigation sounds that we normally hear, the concussion cannons that we hear, the poof, poof, to try to scare the birds away.
B Park, clear for takeoff, 18 left.
It's another Martinair Supercargo Master. And we had one going to Abilene earlier. No, this is a Grand Caravan. Sorry about that. Small plane fans. A Grand Caravan.
18 left, line for weight, American 1343.
And this one's relatively young. It's dates back to this century, to 2002.
Clear for takeoff, 18 left, American 1343.
We can catch a final glimpse of this Air Canada cargo plane as it finally makes its way to the cargo facility here on the west side. As we see that UPS 767
over departure, have a good day, American 12
in the foreground, coming our way.
Spot 37.
I don't see anything in the air coming towards us.
Spot 12, coming up there, spot 12. I have the Larn 18 left, clear for takeoff, American 524.
Lap and wait, 18 left on board, 3869.
Affirmative, all flappers, flybys,
There you see the proximity of birds to the aircraft here.
Runway heading 18 right, clear for takeoff on tech 662.
Departure, good day, American 524.
And this is a plane again that just came in from Austin, Texas.
All right, cross 18 left at Yankee, turn right on Foxtrot, American 1965. All right, we'll hold short of Foxtrot, American 1965.
Veronica Peters, channel member, says, why do some planes have white noses? Well, I think originally it was because, in the nose of the plane
Left on
is
Zulu, American 1965, woke up.
radar equipment, I believe, to kind of find its way through fog and
Golf
such.
Yankee 65, American 1965.
I think originally, back in the day when radar first came out, whatever they used to paint the plane would have a negative impact on the reception of the signal for the radar equipment. So they left the nose cone unpainted. Now, I think that has changed, or at least they've come up with paints. I guess, well, back in the day when they painted planes, it was with lead paint, and of course, lead had a. Anybody who's watched Superman knows that lead will protect you from kryptonite, and I think it will also block radio signals. So, that's why the nose cones were unpainted initially. Now, I've seen it sometimes. I think it can happen sometimes that planes can get damage to their nose cone if they have a bird strike or something, and so they've got to replace it, and sometimes it doesn't get repainted right away, or they don't have the paint color available to match, and so they just slap on the white nose cone. Maybe that's what happened with that DHL aircraft we saw. But I don't know. I'm just kind of speculating here. Maybe somebody in our
RFB Park, clear for takeoff, 18 left, American.
In our chat, will have the full and accurate answer. There's a lot of birds here today. I haven't seen this many before.
18 left, not a point, American 22.
Ms. Wills 13 says, probably with better knowledge than I have. It's usually when they've been replaced for some reason.
2647, we'll see you in a bit on what they're using.
Raw Hide says, morning from South Euless, Walt and friends. And Wisconsin Dave says, I believe your analogy of the white or no paint nose cone is correct. So that'll be like about the first time I've been correct in a while. So good for me.
Arnav Lorne, 18, that's good for takeoff, American 2269.
18 left on the way, on way 3904.
So now we're looking, or we will be when I hit the button here, we're looking to the west. And I have yet to figure out what it is that they're doing over here. I'm going to zoom into it. I don't know if they're drilling a well or putting up some kind of a tower. And I think we speculated the last time I looked at this that maybe they're putting up a cell tower here, so we'll have perfect and unencumbered reception to send our signal out to you on the internet. But I don't know. I have no idea. It's been there for a while.
American 974, left line overway.
And here once again are these birds. They found something they like over there.
Good afternoon.
Well, we haven't had any flights coming in over here. And when I say over here, I'm talking about the west side of DFW Airport. There is American Flight 974. It is destined for the city adjacent to the bay, San Francisco, on that Airbus A321neo. And we thank Omega Trucking
departure on board
Replays
3904. Enjoy your morning.
for becoming our newest member of Runway DFW. Thank you, OTR.
American 974, 111, clear for takeoff.
And Douglas Serrano advises us that Japan Airlines Flight 12 arrives at 9. It's a little more than an hour from now. It may be our last flight of the day before we have to pack things up and head to the nearest Starbucks to begin my day at my real job. But I'm lucky today because it's Triple Star Day there at the Starbucks, so whatever little coffee concoction I purchase and, you know, maybe a little breakfast sandwich, I'll be getting triple stars for that, ladies and gentlemen. I had a Starbucks observation to make. They built a new store in Denton. Just opened maybe a month ago or so. Maybe a little more. Here's a Frontier Flight 2137 to Las Vegas. An Airbus A320. What's on the tail today? It's Percy, the Florida Panther. So anyway, this new Starbucks is unusual because, what to me...
Good morning, Frontier Flight 2137, holding short 1 left, ready for
because you know how they kind of cater to people kind of come in and, like me, like come in and I plop myself down for a couple of hours and do work or have a meeting or, you know, whatever. Well, every other Starbucks I've been in, including one which was recently remodeled just a few blocks away from this particular one, this new one, have, you know, have outlets that you can plug your computer into, and even some of the newer stores tend to have the outlets where they also have a place where you can plug a USB cord into to charge your phone or whatever. And so this new Starbucks store has no outlets anywhere. It's a brand new store. You know, they have tables where you can sit at and plop down and work, but has no electrical outlets. Still got Wi-Fi, but no electrical outlets. I don't know what to make of that. Maybe they're testing to see if it'll, if people will tend to hang out less at a place with electrical outlets, or to linger, I guess I should say. So yeah, I have to wonder if maybe the restriction of activity over here on the... You can hear the bird's wings flapping there. It has to be a concern. But again, maybe that's why there have been no flights recently on 118 right. I don't know.
Departure Frontier 2137.
Okay, we're talking about Starbucks. As Larry Brown suggests, bring a Jackery. Well, see, my Jackeries, which in that he's referring to the batteries that we use, that in my case have been were given to me by Kevin of Airline Videos Live for his eventual return to DFW Airport. So we look forward to that. But anyway, yeah, my Jackeries are pretty well spent by the time I've completed a broadcast here.
Good morning,
Robert Potter says, good morning, DFW Airport from London Heathrow. Per suggests that Starbucks doesn't want me to be recharging. And again, I get that. I get the sense that that's what they want, or that's what they don't want. Well, we do have something to show you here, and that is the tail of an MD-11, and the reason I show that to you is because it's in a different position than it was the last time we saw it. It has been pushed back. I assume it's going to Louisville, but I don't have it on the radar yet, so we will bring that confirmation to you when we can.
Westside Bravo 6.
So we'll keep an eye on that. We'll get to see it head out in just a few minutes.
Cross 18 left at Golf 8, ground 85 other side American.
Got another Frontier flight. Frontier, of course,
Oh,
has
18 left, Frontier Flight 27
kind of
left.
expanded their operations here at DFW recently. This is an Airbus A320 with Wiley the Coati. Am I pronouncing that right? Coati? C-O-A-T-I. Not Wiley the Coyote.
RNAV to V park, clear for takeoff on 18 left, Frontier Flight
Kind of
2711.
raccoon-like creature in some ways, I guess. This aircraft going to San Francisco, flight 2711. Runway DFW member Brian Miller says good morning.
Departure 2711, news, same, sir.
Well, it's that time again. Yes, you're watching Runway DFW live and in color from Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport, Founders Plaza. Glad to have you with us for the final hour of today's broadcast. Birds and all, twin 747s there, and we usually have some good action in the last half hour or in the last hour, so hang out there with us if you would. Hey, here comes that MD-11, which still has not yet illuminated our radar screen, but it will be momentarily coming into view on your screen.
Tower, good morning, Korean 021, Island only right,
Tower, we are up. We're going to need about 3 minutes for 18 left. Yes, we can cross and hold short. All right, Whiskey Fox, clear to cross 18 right. We'll hold short 18 left. UPS 2020 heavy.
Always a treat when we can bring you one of these increasingly rarely seen old birds. And as we always mention, both UPS and FedEx still fly these here in the U.S. and around the world, and both airlines have announced that they will be sunsetting this particular aircraft. I think it was last year that FedEx retired its last MD-10s or DC-10s. You know, the ones without the winglets. We've got another heavy about to come in. It's a Korean Air Flight 31 from Seoul. It's a 787 Dreamliner. It has been flying up there for 12 hours and 24 minutes, and we're about to see it arrive on runway DFW. I thought I heard some camera clicks. Somebody right next to me with a big old lens. Getting some shots.
Alright, B Park 111, clear, take off for 268.
Turn our attention now back to the MD-11. Looks like it's in a position to take off from over here. Still not making an appearance on Flight Radar 24.
And tower for UPS 2020, we are ready when able.
Well, it's Flight UPS 2020, I can tell you that much. At least according to
18 left, line up away, UPS 2020.
According to the air traffic.
031, pass. Alpha Bravo, holding short, running back. Starbuck, Spirit 268.
And showing that it's all for UPS 2020.
Poised for takeoff.
Right now, spare, clear for takeoff, 18 left, UPS 2020.
Line up and wait, 18 left, please caution for wake, clear wake. 031, left, Bravo, ground 25.
Yeah, I'm trying a different system to see if it'll come to you.
So wherever UPS Flight 2020 may be going, there it goes.
Alright, down on. Yeah, we're going to be parking flat.
So it looks like that's going to Philadelphia.
I'm going to have to do something else that will involve probably a circuit breaker. So
according to FlightAware, that MD-11 that we saw. Off to the city of brotherly love. So thank you, FlightAware. There is Spirit Airlines Flight 343, another plane that's going to Cancun. I have just seen the highest number flight I've ever seen. It's American Airlines Flight 9999, a 737-800 with no destination. It's lit up over in the hangar section over here. I suspect that's some placeholder number, I guess. I don't know. I'm beginning to lose hope that we'll see either of these 747s go out in the next hour.
47 for departure this morning, RNAV alarm.
One on the right is getting loaded up. But according to Yankee Doodle Dandy, we will be seeing Nippon Cargo 747 from Anchorage coming in about 9 minutes. Yo ho. So we may yet be able to bring you some lovely Queen of the Sky arrival action for you. Rawhide said, just watch an episode of Richard Hammond's Crash Course. He's, of course, one of the Top Gear fellows who now works for Amazon. I can't remember what the name of their show is on Amazon. The Grand Tour, I think it is. So anyway, Rawhide says he spent 3 days with the DFW Airport fire crew. He even got to drive the Stryker fire truck. Now, I'd like to go see that. I don't know that I'd like to be in the midst of it, though. There's Delta Flight 1291. This one's going to Salt Lake City. It's an Airbus A319. It is a 20-year-old aircraft.
18 left, line up and wait. American 687 Quebec.
And as you can see now, the sun has kind of melted through the clouds. So things are looking a lot more backlit than they did earlier, when the cloud-shrouded sun gave things kind of a nice even cast. Birds, birds, birds.
One departure, 1291 you.
And finally, that Korean Air flight we saw landing a few minutes ago is finally getting over to Terminal D in its parking spot. Quickly go over here, see if we can catch this One World American Airlines livery. Ooh, I've got a sneeze, hang on. Had to abandon camera there for a second. I'm one of those people, I don't know, do you know anybody like this? At certain times when the sun comes into my eyes, I sneeze. It's not like I'm breathing anything in. Well, I guess I am breathing things in, but...
Okay, cross 18 left at Whiskey Lima and over to ground, American 1034.
Good day, American 687 Quebec.
We've got a Saab 340B. A twin-engine plane. It's on its way in. I don't have any other information about it. But it's always interesting to see propeller planes coming in that we don't see too often. So let's take a look at it as it comes in. The illustration here on Flight Radar 24 is very generic. So it's not a picture of this plane that we're about to see. Oh, I think I remember seeing this one before. It is a cargo plane. I remember that livery, but I couldn't make out what it said on it. Okay, it's Ameriflight. Ameriflight ECS.
Charlie 5 in place 7306, thanks. Clear landing 25 American left, thanks.
So Flight Radar didn't even have an N number for this one. There is one on the plane. Maybe if it gets close enough, we can make it out.
Long Hawaii 18 left, air shuttle 6092.
Joshua LeClaire says, good morning, Walt. And our new member, Omega Trucking Replay, says the Saab came from San Antonio, operated by Ameriflight. So yes, I always contend that there's always going to be somebody in our vast international audience who has the answer to just about any question.
RNB Park, clear for takeoff, 18 left, air shuttle 6092.
What's the column pony, step on cargo 168.
Meanwhile, I grow increasingly concerned that neither of these 747s is going to take off in the next 40 minutes, but lucky for us, in just about a minute, we will be seeing Nippon Cargo Airways Flight 168 coming in from Anchorage. And that is a 747-8. And it's going to be coming in from this general vicinity. Should see it within a minute on Runway DFW.
West.
747 on final, says
Stand
OTR.
cross Golf 818 left and ground 185 American 1119.
Subscriber BDF Travel says, good morning, everyone. Good morning to you. You're about to see a Queen of the Skies. Arriving from Anchorage. I think was it next week that Kevin and Rudy are headed up to Alaska to take Airline videos live on the road. I can't wait to see that. So we've seen a triple, we've seen a couple of Dreamliners, we've seen an MD-11 takeoff, we've seen a 747 landing, we've seen a Saab 340. I will have to say that we will not be able to bring you the arrival of today's flight of the A380, the only one we see here at DFW Airport. The British Airways Speedbird from London comes in around late afternoon, 4 or 5-ish, something like that. We will not be here to bring you that today, regrettably. Let's swing around here real quick. We've got a flight from Buenos Aires coming in. Speaking of Dreamliners, it's 7878, American Flight 996. That ends a 10-hour and 31-minute flight from the Southern Hemisphere. So the passengers and crew are transferring from the start of winter to the start of summer. Yesterday, of course, being the summer solstice, longest day of the year. Vincent Vasquez says, "Hi, Runway DFW. You are the best YouTuber." Well, tell that to my 6-year-old grandson, who has his own idea about what YouTubers should be, and I don't fall into any of his categories. But that's okay. Our audience does skew a little older than age 6. Mark Perry, referring to Jerry Dyer, who's of course the host of Big Jet TV, says he goes nuts up in Anchorage. He calls it 747 heaven. Obviously, if you looked at any of his streams before, or any streams from Anchorage, that is clearly the place to be if you want to see queens of the skies. But we're not doing too shabby ourselves this morning. We can at least look at 2 of them here, right in front of us, spread out. And we can show you how the cargo is ingested into its gigantic hold. And Jeffrey Booze, a channel member, says, "My grandson's lean more towards the Mr. Beast type videos." Now, I've heard of Mr. Beast, and I know that he's one of the big names. I can't say that I've ever seen one of his presentations. I suspect it's a lot different than this. But Mr. Beast, if you're watching, send some of your viewers our way. We can always, you won't miss any of them. You got, what, millions of viewers? Well, what have we here?
3192.
It looks like a 737-800 coming in from Silao in Mexico. American flight 2263, I want to say.
American 1066, park west side.
Omega Trucking Replays being very helpful. As a new member of the channel, saying in 10 minutes you got a UPS 757 from New Orleans coming in. That is super. In about a minute, 90 seconds.
18 left on Whiskey Lima, follow the 175. We're going to probably like 135.
We shall be bringing the arrival of flight 1066. American Airlines from Mexico City, 737-800. So that's next on the arrival docket. Mr. Tank 2010 says, hey Walt, United is still sending 737-800s to Chicago, and I think we are going to get a 757 soon because the Hershey Bears just won the Calder Cup and they're flying home soon. Always fun to see a passenger. We don't see passenger 757s here unless it's a charter or a diversion, because we don't have any regularly scheduled ones. Brew is our newest subscriber. Don't know if I pronounced it right, but it is with appreciation that we acknowledge your subscription to Runway DFW. Just a reminder, subscriptions are free, so if you have any hesitation, there's no monetary involvement there. Just hit the subscribe button and join in. We're kind of slowly marching towards 12,000.
Cross 18 left, and then catch a ground on 85 American.
Mr. Tank with a nice comment.
20 right.
It was worth staying up to 2 a.m. this morning just to watch it. Oh, he's talking about the
American 8, good morning as well.
The Calder Cup, I'm sure he's talking about. We're getting that whine. We've heard this before. It almost sounds like a siren which is stuck. I'm not sure if it's
Tower 4936, ILS for
an APU.
So 180 at Netty, but unable to get to 170.
The auxiliary power unit on one of these planes. Or if it's something else over there at UPS.
We do 170 to Netty. Just roll past one. And after Netty, our final will be 125.
Well, we've got about 30 minutes left of broadcasting for you this morning.
We'll get to you as long as we can.
I could stay longer, but as I often have to explain, I've got to go to my regular job. Got out here about 5 a.m. Central Time to set things up. We got on the air on time today for a change. I was glad to see that at 6 o'clock. And we've got a flight about to come in from Querétaro in Mexico. It's American Flight 883, 737-800. And that'll be our next arrival on Runway DFW. And you might well ask, Walt, why do you set up in the morning with all these impediments in the way of your shot of planes coming in? And the reason is because of this. Now we could set up over the direction that we're pointing, where you see those people walking there. We'd get a clearer shot of the planes coming in, but then we wouldn't be able to bring you shots like this. And I don't know, I just think the wind is...
West side.
The wind is getting stronger. It's still coming from the east, though.
Clear to course 18 left at Golf 8 and over to ground at 0.85, 83.
So when it gets slow and when we don't have any planes milling about, it's always nice to be able to bring you shots like this, show you the inner workings of the United Parcel Service, well, what they used to call the United Parcel Service. Omega Trucking Replay says at 8:30, well, is it at 8:30 now? Well, it's 8:30 our time, 8:33. You should have a 747 going to Louisville, which is why you hear that air starter. Well, neither of these 7-4s look like they're ready to go out anytime in the next 20 or 30 minutes. So maybe we'll get lucky, who knows. 1970 RPM says good morning from Hurst. Nice and toasty today. Hurst is a suburb of Dallas-Fort Worth, not very far from where we're standing. Howdy Doody says, good morning, Walt and everyone. Hope you're all having a good day. We're having a good morning. And we say hello to M.R. Rice, who we've had the privilege of seeing in person here, and he was joining us on a regular basis on his last trip to the Far East, the Philippines. So Omega Trucking Replay says UPS is leaving 8:45 EST from Flight Radar 24. Well, that would be 7:45 EST. So that's already passed, right?
West side.
I think I got my time zones right. Channel member Karen Monson says no complaints about your streaming location, Walt. Well, you know, I try to please, but you know, there's different places you can hang out at. Yankee Doodle Dandy says bye, Walt and everybody. See you next time. Thanks, Walt. Enjoyed it. Thank you. Here is our setup location. We're under this canopy. The canopy doesn't do us any good at this hour of the day. But if we were going to be here for another couple of hours, it would be ideal because the sun would, as it was rising in the sky, it would cast a shadow upon this location. So just a tip for anybody who might want to come out here and watch the planes in the shade. So that camera's looking north towards us, and then this camera over here is looking to the south. There you can see the twin 747s there in the background. You can see how breezy it's getting with my shirt getting blown around.
Echo Alpha. Departure, good day, Envoy 3580.
I do see one of the UPS planes looking like it may be getting ready to get pushed back. I thought I saw, yeah, the marker lights are on this plane.
UPS 9884, runway 18 right.
So that looks like a 767, I think. Yeah. That one is going to Louisville. It's an 11-year-old aircraft.
Sorry, UPS 9884, rolling 8 right.
Yeah, look at there. It's moving. It's on the move.
Land 18 right, UPS 9884.
That's a major winglet there.
18 left, line up wait, American 2722.
Austin Swafford says good morning. Hello to you, Austin. Rena Taylor, our Special Olympics equestrian champion, says, Walt, do you like my profile picture? It's me getting my silver medal from the USA Games last year. It's kind of tiny on my screen, but I can see that it's you, and I can see that you are holding a medal. So that is a very nice reminder of your equestrian abilities.
RNAV to B Park.
And we are glad to have you as a
2722.
channel member and friend of the channel. Got a 757 on it on final approach here. Let me see if we can swing around that for you. This is going to be UPS flight coming in from New Orleans, which we were told about. Love the profile of the 757.
American 2722.
Gotta get our jingle singers back here.
1988.
Yeah, this one goes back a few years, 34 to be exact. Well, I guess it'll be 35 next month.
Charlie Park, UPS 9884, thank you.
So again, this plane came in from the Big Easy of New Orleans. And it's about to say bread and butter to a departing 767.
RNAV delivering 18 left, clear for takeoff, envoy 3774.
MR Rice posing a question to the Runway DFW audience. Has anyone ever heard of a Boeing 314? It's not ringing a bell, MR.
No, we're on this side today.
Channel member Cathay Spotter says, good morning, everyone. Watching from Northern California. We're at 6:39 a.m. Happy Thursday. Hope everyone well today. Doing great. Yeah, I know this is not a...
Envoy 1 at left, American 13.
This time is not great for our West Coast U.S. Members. Here comes that 767 that we saw earlier.
Departs, talk to you later on Boeing 3774.
As it passes by the 747s.
American 2335.
And it is about to have a close encounter, well, not that close, with the 757 that's on its way in.
All right, Blair, quick takeoff, flying left, American 1323.
One of flight of Runway American 1965.
I believe we determined that the 767 is going to Louisville.
Good speed, clear across 18 left, 941. Departure today, American 1323.
Channel member Mark Chandler with the answer to MR Rice's question. The Boeing 314 was a 4-engine flying boat known as a Clipper, which I guess was a major part of Pan American's operations back in the day.
All right, let's take off my left, American. 18 left, line up and wait, envoy 3619.
West American 2335.
Looking like another hazy day here in North Texas. We're destined for some high temperatures again.
Golf 8, hold short 18 left, American 2335.
Between the heat and the humidity.
On out to B Park, 18 left, clear for takeoff on Boeing 3619.
It's been pretty brutal if you've got to do anything outside.
18 left, line up and wait on Boeing 3980.
Another reason we come to you from the mornings, which is the coolest time of the day.
American 1561, clear to 18 right, confirm.
Got to keep that equipment from overheating.
20 right, clear landing, 61. Sorry, 5036 outside, Nitty on at 20 right.
Oh, hey, it's Greg. And I'm going to guess Tampa says, good morning, Walton Mods. Love the different camera positions. Well, that's kind of our thing here at Runway DFW
You got a 18 left, clear for takeoff on
mix it up a little bit as far as cameras go. We've got 4 today. Our southbound camera, our northbound camera, our UPS camera, and our roving lens, which is currently pointed at this UPS 767 on its way.
Departure, have a good morning, Envoy 3619.
Louisville. No, is that right? Yeah, Louisville. Making the big turn.
Arnett to Larry, take off, 20 left, UPS 37, head. Departure, we'll see Envoy 3983.
Way left, line up wait on Envoy 3076.
Stop, approaching red ray, 1 right. 1 right, clear line left, approaching 6.
American 2335.
East.
Well, let's see. What haven't we done yet today?
Alpha, 0.65, bridge, American 15.
Oh yeah, we haven't shilled for our merch.
Push departure, 3753 at CM.
Yes, merch. Well, we've got it. We've got these Runway DFW logo packable jackets. T-shirts, of course.
Got a secretary, 200, about a 50-mile final now. LS 20.
Caps galore in 2 different styles. We've got these snapback caps, and we've got the dad caps, which is what I'm wearing, because I'm a dad. We've got sweatshirts. Maybe about time to get those in the southern hemisphere anyway. And we've got mugs. So streamlabs.com/runway DFW/merch is where you go to get them. Lance DATL says, Walt ever considered live streaming any of the DFW area air shows? Well, we were, funny you should say that, we were just at one last weekend on Saturday. We went up to Durant Regional Airport in southern Oklahoma. And we did, it wasn't a gigantic air show, it was a nice sized one.
2080, 18 right, 50 miles.
And we thank the Commemorative Air Force for their hospitality, along with Durant Regional Airport. And it's there for you to peruse on our channel, Runway DFW. We've got Alaska Airlines Flight 466 coming in from Portland. It's going to be a 737 MAX 9, which we don't see too many of here. But you're about to see one on Runway DFW.
18 left, line up and wait, Envoy 3515. 2647.
Six 47, good day, American 1134.
Alright, I have Laren 18 left, clear for takeoff, Envoy 3515.
18 left, line up, wait, down 677.
1683, good morning.
Bravo shows 18 left, left at 466.
Well, they're still loading up this Queen. One of the two we have out in front of us here, and so I suspicion that we'll not be seeing either of those go out during our remaining time here, which is about 8 minutes. But it's nice seeing them. Nice seeing them get loaded up. Maybe I'll have to start at 5 a.m. next time to catch one of these coming in. A few trains at. Channel member says, really enjoyed the air show on Saturday. Walt, nice guest talking to you as well. Look forward to the next one. Steve Lundaby, channel member says, a while back I ordered some merch, but for some reason it was canceled. We'll try again soon. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I don't know what would have accounted for that. They did get back to me with some question about the logo or embroidery or something, and I got back to them in what I thought was a timely fashion. So I apologize for that. That's a Sun Country flight 9200 arriving from Minneapolis, St. Paul on a 737-800. And we're about to show you the kind of hard to see at this point, but it's the special livery that American Airlines has, paying tribute to the Medal of Honor recipients.
2647.
Yeah, it's pretty indistinct at this
Echo Whiskey Lima
magnification.
Delta departure, American 2720. Good day.
Let me scan the skies here, see if we've got anything. Well, you know, we'll wait just a minute or two for Japan Airlines Flight 12 from Haneda Airport in Tokyo. This is going to be a 777. It has been skyward for not quite 11 hours. And it'll be here in just a couple minutes. I think we've got an American Airlines flight from Sioux Falls
and over to ground
coming in just ahead of it.
5036. Left 466. Departure do the same, Skyward 3292. Onboard 3243, 1 right. Clear to land, caution, wind turbulence, onboard 3342.
All right, let's get set up for the Japan Airlines flight now. Again, this is Flight 12 from Haneda Airport in Tokyo. 777.
RNAV Blair and 18 left, clear for takeoff, American 353.
And it will be our final flight of the morning on runway DFW.
Park in East, Mark 2080.
The tripod has kind of a mind of itself this morning.
Echo Alpha Short 18 left, Mark 2080.
So the camera's pointing kind of towards the northeast. The plane will be coming in from the left side of your screen.
27,
Just now making its way over the highway, and there it is.
Right left, clear for takeoff, RNAV B, Park, man 2357.
And we working on issues about 10 minutes.
13.
Left runway 18 left, American 1749.
Incoming flights are having to contend with crosswinds today. The wind's coming from the east. These are north-south runways, so the wind coming from the east buffets them from the left side as they come in. So that is Japan Airlines Flight 12. We are now going to pay tribute, first of all, to our big benefactor, the sponsor of this channel, who has supplied us with all sorts of new camera goodies, and we thank that person for that. We'd like to thank Kevin of Airline Videos Live for the use of Jackery batteries, which makes it so that we can power up our gear. And we would like very much to honor our Runway DFW Moderation Federation members who make sure we have a great experience for all of you. And now here are the members of our channel.
3365, we're up. Alright, got 73 level pass, 18 left and full lane for onboard 3365.
Well, that's about going to do it for our broadcast for today. Thanks to all our members. That was a list of our members as of last night. So if you're a new member, watch for your name on the next crawl. We'll be back to you soon, this weekend sometime, I would think. But you know, ring that bell and subscribe and like and all that stuff. We'll see you again soon. Thank you very much for being with us today. Always my pleasure to bring you aircraft activity from Dallas-Fort Worth Airport. And happy contrails to you until we meet again. Bye, everybody.
Hold short, 18 left, onboard 3343. Alright, Blair, 18 left, clear for takeoff, onboard 3365. That's the way 20 left, American 24-7. Come on, Tony, go ahead. Park, winning left, clear for takeoff, American 24-7. Delta 15, about 15 now. Halfway to 18 left, we'll land 18 right off of 56.
Excellent, you push short 18 left, onboard 3627. Taxi opportunities. Alright, Blair, 30 to 1.
for The Price is Right, which follows at most of these CBS stations.
We hope you liked it. Too late to change it now.
Left line employee, American 21 4. Spec 2192 inside. This time 21, American 21